Hi, this is Pam Perkins with ROC Metaphysical. The name of the magazine is ROCmetaphysical.com. It's a metaphysical magazine that has articles about everything under that umbrella. It could be alternative health, spirituality, and along with that, it could be about crystals and angels, energy work, emotional health, mental health, everything that we can do and provide, share information about how to help you get to the next level in a positive way. New articles come out the first of each month. It's all online, no paper. Didn't want to go that paper. I didn't want to be a paper girl. And then there's events and classes and different information on there. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram. And now we're going to be doing YouTube. So I'm doing lots of YouTube interviews. So today we're talking with Sage Walker, who also is in Rochester, New York. And she's someone I've known for a really long time. And I thought we'd check up to see what's going to be happening. It's the new year and things are changing and she's got a lot of things coming. So I think one of the first things that she was talking about is energy. And maybe we should take a step back and tell us how you work with energy and can see it or feel it and know it.
Well, I can do all of those things because I see energy. I can see it in anything. And if I'm looking at it in a person, I also see the places where energy is blocking a person, whether in physical or in this energy field. And I'm also able to pick up on the reasons it's being blocked. So if there's something that's holding a person's back, I'll see the block, and then I'm given information from the higher spiritual realms as to what a person can do. And that information they like me to write down in colored pens because they call it people's homework. So it's something that they take with them so that they can keep working on those issues. People do it who have gone through trauma, who just feel stuck. Some people recently have are missing a loved one, or just life isn't working for them. So they've come in and we do several sessions, and it's not a forever thing. Sometimes it's 3 to 4 sessions, and then maybe once every 3 to 6 months, just to keep people on track, keep them clear, and keep their energy fields clear and their vibrations high. One of the things that is really important, is becoming more and more important, is where you keep your vibration. That's one of the classes that I'm going to be doing, is keeping your vibration or raising your vibration to the highest level. Energy follows intent. Energy is speeding up and is much more intense now than it used to be. So with your intention and being aware and doing some of these techniques, you're able to move yourself along and get rid of some of the things that have been causing issues. Some of the classes are creating your own life, raising your vibrations. I'm going to do one on I am enough, because that seems to be a theme that people have been coming to me with. All of our past gives us messages of we're not good enough. And as we've grown up, it's hard to stop those old programs. So that's one of the classes that were a lot of different techniques to do to get beyond I'm not enough, or I should, or I shouldn't, that type of thing. I'm also started to do spiritual groups. I call it Spirit Night because we'll discuss a metaphysical topic, and then I do a mini healing and a mini reading. And so because I can see the energy in a person and around a person, I just know what to do and where to go. I tell people sometimes that I have the best job in the world because I don't have to know what to do. I'm told what to do. sometimes they also get a little feisty because they like to add humor in. And, you know, I just talk to them like they're my friends, which technically they are. And one of the things that, so I'm also going to do an introduction to pendulums, because some people have been asking me about how to use a pendulum to ask questions about should they take this vitamin or that type of thing. So I'm going to do a class on that. And then I'm going to do calling all angels. I've done several angel classes before. I'll do another one again, which people seem to be real interested in. And I always go by what I'm told to do. Well, almost always. I also have the book, The Awakening. It's creating a new way of being. And in here are numerous spiritual messages. I had no idea I was writing these, and I was throwing paperwork out and I heard take those out, and I took them out and started reading them. And I thought, my God, who wrote that? Because I didn't remember writing it. It was my writing, but and they just told me to open the book and to read to you whatever came up. And so it's called Believe in You. Believe in who you are. Know the internal self. Learn more about you. The goodness of your inner self wants to grow. Look at the soul of who you are. It is here you find the truth. It is here you learn so you may grow into your potential, all of which you do not know. It is time for you to expand, and the world needs your light, your spark. That was one of the passages that's in the first book, and the second one is in process. And like I said, I don't remember writing them, but they're very profound. And I just suggest that it's available on Amazon. So if people want to get it, just open it every day or how often and just read one passage and then think about it throughout the day. Because more and more clarity will come to you around whatever the passage was.
It's a great book. I mean, I've done that. And so much of it applies when you read it and you're like, how could that possibly be for me today?
Yes.
So it's a great book. And is the second book similar? Is it more writings?
Yes, it's sort of similar. Some of these passages don't read grammatically correct because they're not my words, they're theirs. And when I initially started taking the paperwork out of the trash, excuse me, I found about 300 of them. And so there's about 150 plus more that I'm in the process of putting into the format for a book. That was one of the things I never expected I would do and didn't have a clue as to how to do it, but I'm learning.
Well, just like the rest of us, we're all stepping forward into new things.
Yes.
So just to kind of go back from, what I know is that you were an LPN.
Yes.
And that's probably where, your understanding of people and maybe I think nurses from what I see are doing energy work, whether they know it or not.
Yes. Yes.
You may, touch, hold hands or, gently, give a little massage on feet or,
Right.
you're touching patients in the most positive way, I should say.
Yes.
In a medically.
I'm an ordained minister and I worked for 44 years with parents of handicapped children. So I have a lot of background into different life situations for most people.
And so do you think that helped you become tuned in? I know you have your spiritual guides that they decided to make themselves known because of the work you were doing.
I've known since I was a teenager. I always knew there was a mosaic in my life, but I didn't know what it was. And I kept asking, what's a mosaic? What's a mosaic? And one day they told me, you're not going to know because you'll try and mess with it. Because you'll think you could do it this way or that way. So give it up. So yeah, that in my own background gave me a lot of understanding of trauma, feelings, what it takes for a person to overcome something, and, learning to be non-judgmental. Because I don't make any judgments of anybody. I judge myself more than I judge anyone else. And because you are who you are, and that's great whether you're aware of that or not. So my philosophy is I'm there to support people in whatever they need to do. And all of the guides and everyone who assists me are there to assist them.
So, and it's kind of nice that you're receiving help from the higher realms.
Yes.
That you're giving the correct information as needed.
Yes,
I
because
know I've asked you for information, and you sometimes tell me that I need to just be patient, and that it's not always forthcoming on a silver platter.
right.
That some of the work needs to be done by yourself, and not having a person or a spiritual guide just kind of lay it out for you, which
Right.
I told you to tell them. I don't like that. And they're
And
like,
they
too
say
bad.
too bad. And one of the things is that people will frequently ask me when I'm being given the information is, who is it? It does not matter who it is, because when we want to know, who is that? Was it an angel? Was it who? We're getting into ego. Oh my God, this person came to me. Well, that's not what's important. So they won't tell.
Well, as long as they're at the highest vibration. So
yes, because my prayer is that angel, spirit guides, masters, and whoever else wants to assist must come for the highest and best, greatest good and greatest healing. And then I always ask they come through the white light of God, the white brotherhood, the angelic realm, the vibration of love, and the stone people, because I work with crystals too. I may do another class on crystals, and because you can pick up vibrations and information from crystals, I can read all sorts of energy, and I can read crystals, and they can support us in what we're doing. So, and they're wonderful little companions.
well, people may, have judgment, and we shouldn't, but they basically give you a feeling, or they talk, or you sense something about them. So, if I was at a show where there's rocks, and you would say, oh, this one, works for you or works for me. And they actually sometimes, and I've seen this, where they say you need them because they offer this energy that will help you, in your life or whatever endeavor you're on. So,
yes, they will. And sometimes they tell me to give them away, which I do not like, because I do not like letting go of any of my stones. But I do it when they tell me to.
Right. Well, I mean, I find it all really interesting, and I've done the crystal class with you, and it was very interesting, the information that you gave. I mean, there was one rock that I picked up from a lake that I used to live on, and I didn't tell you anything about it, but you're like, this is like millions and millions of years old, and there was such an old energy to it. And I've just tried, before you even saw that rock, I mean, had such meaning for me.
Mhm.
So I'd like to know my rocks are happy in my house and that there's some connection to it. So I'd highly recommend that people take the class when you offer it, because it also goes with jewelry, I think you said too. And it's more like if you have a diamond necklace or a ruby necklace, or it has to be a semi-precious or precious stone.
Yes. And the other thing while we're talking about stones is do not put them in your bedroom. Every stone emits energy, and it's going to emit energy while you're sleeping, which can be disruptive to your sleep pattern. So set your friends somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm bad. I have a couple. They're not real big, but they're probably just as powerful.
Yes, they are.
Well,
it's just the stones, just like the angel once told me. It goes for the stones and the angels. It doesn't matter what size we are. We all have the same power.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So let's see, we got classes, and we should talk about where you work out of.
Oh, I work at a One Wellness Center. That's where my office is. That's where I teach all of the classes. Occasionally I will do one spirit night in somebody's home if there is enough people. I prefer to do them at the center because the energy's all set up and there's so many other things I can pull from. For example, the last energy night, spirit night I did, they wanted everybody to leave with a little gift bag. So, and I have a lot of sprays, some from Amanda Ellis and a lot of different essences that I will spray on a piece of charcoal. They're little round charcoal stones because that absorbs, and then put it in a little gift bag, and each person gets whatever they need. It's not the same for everybody. I'm told whichever one to do, and then they wanted people in that class to have that. So if that happens, then I have all of that there to work with.
Yeah, and the other thing you do is house blessings.
Yes.
Or house clearings, however you want to look at it.
Yes.
I love doing mine, but there's people that don't know how to do it, and because you're tuned in to your spiritual realm, I'm sure they come with you when it's time to do a house cleaning.
Yes. I recently did one for a little 5-year-old. He was feeling disturbance in his bedroom. He's very highly evolved. And his grandmother knows me, so she talked the parents into having me come over. I cleared and blessed his room. And because he would never sleep in it, he felt like the ghosts or whatever were in his room and he wouldn't sleep there. So I had him help me do the blessing and the clearing. And he's slept there every night since.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And if possible, if it's a little kid, and that's like only the second one I've ever done for a child, I make sure that they're a part of what I do and that they have sort of an understanding of what I do. And I just explain to them, well, I'm a little weird because I see things and, all that kind of stuff. And I make it fun for them. Then we go to their room, they tell me what's going on. And because I will clear all outlets and windows and everything else. And they'll remind me if I missed an outlet or whatever. So they also take ownership of that being cleared of anything they don't want in there.
Right. And that's part of it.
Yes.
I know we've discussed that, I've had some energy issues, and when you take ownership and take, like I own this bedroom, it's mine.
Yes.
then that sets their intention. And if
Mhm.
there's any energies that don't need to be there anymore, hopefully with that intention that
Yeah.
they,
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't have a volition of their own. So if you're insistent, they have to go.
right,
And, I've done some pretty nasty places, and it's just, you can't stay here, you must leave. And it's just something I repeat until they leave, because energies, if you have someone who's been very negative for a long time and held a lot of negative energy in one place, that energy is kind of like stable there. And it's kind of grounded. So you have to lift it up and insist that change, and then bring in a more positive energy. It's interesting, in this house, even the dog was disturbed. And
with a little kid.
yeah, where the little kid was, the dog was disturbed, and I he said the dog was upset. And so I cleared the dog cage for him. And then I had Dad tie a crystal there. The dog has settled down and never been a problem since.
So I would imagine that you sense that there was some things that needed to go.
Yes, yes. And it's not important that people know what they are.
Right.
It's just that I'm able to assist them to go to another place.
Right. And
Yes.
you can, and that's probably another thing that you do, is that you send them on to
Yes.
follow the path of light to go
Yes.
to a higher level,
Yes.
wherever they're supposed to go.
Yeah. And, so it can be wonderful after it's done. And, I'm very grateful that this little guy and his dog are doing well.
Well,
Mom and Dad have asked to come and do the house. Because they're beginning to see him now, but they don't bother the dog or the little guy.
well, I guess you're going to have to go back now.
Yes, I am, but it's a massive house. So I'm going to have help with it, because it's massive. So,
Right. So you do quite a bit. So we got
yes.
class. Oh, and you're an energy worker too. I mean, I
Yes.
know that you've taught IET, which is integrative energy therapy.
Yes.
So you're a master teacher. You've done Reiki and BARS, BARS.
Yes.
is
And I've
another-
taken about 15 different energy courses, Kalamani, many, many things that people wouldn't even think about. And don't hear much about, but because I've always been interested in felt energy, I started studying it. And so I've taken a lot of different courses.
Right. So, and if it was to come in with a session for you, you offer healing, and
Yes.
because you've got your spirit team there with you, you're working with them. They're
Yes.
helping you to determine what you need to do. And with all the different modalities that you have, basically you're clearing, removing
Yeah. And
whatever is going
identifying,
on.
yeah, in identifying for the person what they need to work on. It's not determined by me. I like to let them figure out what, because I might think, well, IET, and yet there's so much more beyond that the person could use. So it's not up to me. I ask that it's the highest and best, and then they're in charge.
Right. And I've had sessions, so I can attest to it. And I've had readings with you, so I'm familiar. And I love the fact that you give homework. So really no, but yeah, that there is a burden on the person that,
Yes.
you've gotten information, you've gotten cleared, that, there's things that you need to do to help yourself.
Yes.
So, and your homework's not really hard.
No, no.
There's usually a time component with it, that
Mhm.
there's a dedication to doing it over a certain amount of time.
Right, because you're right. The person is in charge in how much better they get or not, or how much better their life moves forward is totally up to them. It's what they do.
Right.
Like you said, all the preliminary work can be done, but then it's up to the person.
Right. So I think you offer so much. So, I don't even know how much more you can possibly do with between readings and energy work and teaching, and you've written a book. And I guess the next thing is you should sponsor a cruise.
Well, I've thought of that, but one of the things I may be currently getting into is the energy is on the earth is increasing a great deal in strength. And I'm able to identify, just like I see energy around a person, I'm able to see it like even at the center. I can see places where I've identified a spiritual line, and it has certain components to it, but it opens up when I tune into various places, and that can be utilized for a person's greater good. And I think there's more of that kind of identification coming because the energy on the earth is changing dramatically.
Well, hopefully for the better.
It is for the better. It is for the better. But people who want to stay in the negative might start getting more uncomfortable because the energy isn't supporting negativity like it used to. And so it's like, okay, get over it. It's kind of what the energy's saying.
Well, hopefully it means a lot of things are loosening up and
They are.
go.
Yeah.
So the good stuff and the positivity can be the norm.
Right. And it can be. And one of the things that everybody can do for themselves is, like you said, you set your intentions in the morning. And when your body, mind, and spirit are involved, it's more dramatic when it's like you're seeing it, doing it. So every morning, sit down what your intention is that you want to achieve for the day, even things you want to do, and then sit down what you want to feel, because that sets up your day and slowly begins to change your whole reference of energy throughout each day, because you're programming it in a different way instead of getting up and just going with what's left over from the day before and whatever.
Oh, that's good advice. So should we say what your website is? And
it's the angelic.link@gmail.com is my email, and the angeliclink.com is the website. And then which I have to have Pam help me update.
And then also a One Wellness.
Yes, One Wellness. And I also do monthly, I tune in and get things and then send it to you for a monthly topic on your ROC Metaphysical.
Yeah, and those are pretty interesting, and it's very easy, I guess. It's simple, but it's not like, oh, I have to go in a cave and meditate. It's just very simple. Focus and think about this, and it's not
it's part of life, so you can just keep going and moving on instead.
Right.
In something that I heard, I actually read this recently. For people who are having a stressful day, like you do sometimes, is stop, take 10 deep breaths and slowly let them out. And that allows your body to release some of this subconscious programming that you've collected and brought up for the day. So
right. That's some good advice. Yeah. So anything else? I mean, we covered a lot of territory.
I don't remember anything else. I do so much. Sometimes I forget what I do.
Me too.
Yes.
Okay, so just so people know, it's in theangeliclink.com.
Yes. Yes.
And One Wellness, it's One Wellness, I think it's at CTR.com.
No, I think it's onewellness.com.
Okay, well, I thought it was CTR, but it's One Wellness on Monroe Avenue in Rochester, New York. So people can find that website. And Sage writes occasionally for the magazine whenever I bug her about making sure she sends one. So, you'll find her on the magazine, and then her classes will also be on the magazine. So if people are interested, they can see them there also.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Nice to see you.
Yes, you too.
All right. I'm going to hit the stop button and
Okay, I'll
say
talk to you later.
so long.
Okay.